This is my first video, and I'm going to be showing you around my game aid, the Generic Role-Playing Game Aid, designed for Foundry Virtual TableTop. I'm just going to give you a quick overview, starting with the configuration or the system settings. You can choose from a number of different rule sets. We're going to stick with D20. You can choose from a number of initiative types, and we'll stick with the standard D20. We'll have a quick look at the modules that are in play in my setup, so that if you see anything odd, you'll be able to figure out where that might have come from. And we're going to focus on a D20 type character to go through the various options. So we'll take a token, and we'll start with the back tab, because there's not very much there. This create items from an array of JSON objects. I'm probably going to delete it soon because it's very technical and there are better ways to do it now. The next is the ability to export all of the items of this actor into this text field in this array of JSON objects format. Import monster manual format. So there's a standard format in the D&D 3.5 monster manual, and this will import it. The miscellaneous tab has headings for all of the items that don't really have a proper home in another tab. So I'll just quickly go through the things that are here. Here are your checks and your variables. Variables are handy using in reference as it's described in these little text bits. Feats, weaknesses, racial abilities, and class abilities are all information only. So here's some more class abilities. Now, the modifiers. These are actual working implementations of a lot of these things. So your Constitution bonus. We'll have a quick peek. It modifies that saving throw, that skill roll, and the formula is based on the Constitution bonus. So that's basically how modifiers work. Containers are containers of the array of JSON objects format for a number of items, and so you can drag something like that from the items tab over here and drag it onto your sheet, or from another actor onto your sheet, and it will create all of the items that are defined in it. More on that in a different video. Spells, nothing particular going on here. Of course, when you hover, it shows the note, and what I've chosen to do for D20 is to have it display the text in the chat saying that you're casting that spell, and then here are all of the effects for reference. Skills. Here is where your primary attributes are stored, and you can define any of these. They're all items, so you can define them any way you like. We'll have a quick look at one. Easy, there's not much there. It automatically calculates the modifier, and that's usable elsewhere. Anything that will modify a primary attribute goes here. Skill modifiers, they modify at least one of the skills listed down here. Then down here you have all of the skills, and you can add or delete any that you don't want to see, just like any of the other items. Right click gives you a context menu to edit or delete any item. Here we have the global modifier, which is a one-time use. You use it for one roll and then it resets to 0. The combat tab, the 3 armor class checks. We'll have a quick look at those after we see the modifiers that are in effect. Dexterity bonus, obviously, for armor class, an armor class bonus, dodge bonus. Haste provides a dodge bonus to armor class, and then leather armor provides a general armor class modifier. And when we look at these, you have to say which you specify for each armor class modifier, which of the three it modifies. So we'll just roll these three, and you can see the differences over here, how the modifiers are gathered up for each type. Moving on to saving throws. Same approach here. We have our three types of saving throws and the things that modify any one of those three. Endurance here is a circumstantial one that will modify your fortitude save when appropriate. So you select it or deselect it as necessary. Down here we have a horde of attack and damage modifiers. Attack modifiers are surrounded in blue, damage modifiers in red, and those that affect both are in purple. So the modifiers that apply to various types of attacks, and you'll see that ranged attacks are currently in silver, and melee attacks are currently in beige. Their skill bonus is based on one of the variables, the base attack bonus, and then modified by all of these things. And we have various bits of information. The crit threshold is actually applied now, and the system will check for that number, and if the roll is that number or higher, then the result will be obvious in the chat in green, and if a 1 is rolled, then it will show up in red. Let's have a quick look at try the Frost Longsword and see what its effects are. Affected by strength bonus, haste, and the fact that it's a +1 longsword. These modifiers here. Now we'll look at Oathbow, and we will see that something is missing, and that is dexterity. So if we have a look at the dexterity bonus, we see that it's still set to the default named ranged attack. So what we will do, because we've carefully named both of these ranged attacks so that they start with the same phrase, we will change the things that are modified by it to Oathbow, and then either of those now include a dexterity bonus. Over to the main tab. This is where pools are, or resources, as far as Foundry is concerned. The obvious one is hit points, and we can see that it is already implemented in the token. So there's your 83, and I can change it -10, and it changes in both places. If I increase it here, it increases here. If I change +25, it takes it up to its maximum value and no further. And over here we have his spell pools, which make it easy enough for you to decrement or increment after you've rested the number of spells per day that you have remaining. So, but these aren't represented on this token yet. So what we'll do is we will edit the resources tab for the token, and you can see that we're using a slightly different setup. This is due to the module bar brawl. So you can see tracked HP, but let's add a resource, and we can see that any of the pools are listed in here under attribute bars. So we will take that, we will go top outside, and then we will add another resource. We will take the second one, we will add top outside, update the token, and now we can see that our spells are listed here, just in the same fashion as hit points. And you can see I've just refreshed that. So now you can see how many spells of each type you have right here. Now the labeling of those, that's something that is in the bar brawl module, and I'm not going to cover it here, but basically the bar brawl allows you to add a whole bunch more of these. It gets a little bit cluttered after a while, so be careful with that. Anyway, something I forgot to mention early on is that apart from this top tab in every actor, everything else is an item, and you can add them, subtract them, drag them onto somebody else as you wish. It's quite a flexible system that allows you to build anything that you want. However, because it can do that, it also requires you to build everything that you want, at least the first time, and then you can copy those things from one to another. To create an actor, the actor is basically empty of any objects at all, any items. So what I've done, is I've created a compendium. Let's see, these are the systems that are supported, so let's take the D&D, and it has one item which is a huge package of, it's a container item of all of the core D&D 3.5 items. So we drag it and we drop it onto the actor, and it gradually builds that up. And then we can close it, go to the miscellaneous tab, and we can see that all of those are in there. This one we don't actually need because it's stored permanently over here, and it just takes up space. So I just remove it, and that tidies things up. So the spells, the skills are all imported at zeros, the primary attributes at 10s. The combat, it starts with the two basic ones, although the base attack bonus should probably default to 1, and the hit dice to 1. So now if we go back to combat, we can see that they've changed to skill 1. And the main just includes hit points. And it starts you off with 30 feet. You can change that to 20 feet, and it'll recalculate as you wish. And for your initiative modifier, you stick that up in here, and well, we add him to the combat, and we can see it's that easy to do the initiative. Now he's got a +4, and you'll see on the front, rolls for initiative d20 +4, his initiative, plus a random thing that I've added in order to sort people who roll the same initiative. That's all I have to show you on this first video. Thanks for watching.